Hello. I made actually a dairy. It's a raw milk dairy, just to say that, because that's what I'm going to talk about is real milk, which I consider raw milk to be the only real milk. So here's the history. Milk is the most assaulted product, maybe, or at least there's nothing been damaged more terribly than milk in this country, and it's been happening for maybe a century. I think in New York City, cows were housed in distilleries, and it was in a way the first CAFOs in the beginning of the 20th century, and they had to eat this distillery stuff, the swill, whatever it's called, and they got sick, and they got consumption. And so milk was given the reputation of being a dangerous substance. So exactly what are the dates of the beginning of pasteurizing? Pasteurizing was beginning to be done, and pasteurizing destroys the proteins in milk. It isn't as terrible, however, as homogenizing, which more than destroys the fat in order to make it stay suspended in the milk. The fat under homogenization is it's put through tiny tubules. I'm not sure what they're made of, but they are very tiny, and it is forced through under great pressure, and the molecules that come out cease to be the fat molecules that our bodies have known about. They are smaller and jagged, and it's my view, and I think other people as well, that homogenization is what started heart disease in America. This country didn't have heart disease. There were no heart doctors when, I'm going to forget his name, but the heart doctor that treated Eisenhower, when he was thinking of being a heart doctor, and that was a novelty. There were just none. So, but with the advent of homogenization, heart disease began. So the farm that used to produce milk, and that still does with people who know what's good for everybody, is the family farm. The family farm had almost always a cow at the center of it, a milking cow. It wasn't considered really a dairy until farms were just cows, and that happened. I don't know. It became more common toward the middle of the 20th century. But the way to have milk in its good, best form is to have it straight from the cow into the bottle, as in the way that is possible with the family farm. And that is because with just, let's say, between 1 and 6 cows, they can be hand milked. They can be hand pulled, as it's called. And the milk doesn't have to go through, first of all, the milking machine is a problem. The farm that I built in Hudson, New York, has 28 cow stanchions, and so we are milking not by hand. But it means, I've come to see this, how serious it is. It means that you have maybe 4 milking machines to clean out every single day, and that takes a huge amount of water and chemicals of some sorts. And then water is added to the process of getting milk instead of no water, which is the way it is on the small farm when you don't need to have milking machines. This just makes it so much simpler. It means that you can carry the milk in the pail to your kitchen and pour it in the bottles immediately. And that is the safest way, the cleanest system. Because as soon as water is added, bacteria enter the fray of the sorts that are not just milk bacteria. It's just water is a problem in the business of the world of bacteria. There will be bacteria that are not compatible with milk at all, that can get in, and so you have to use more water. I don't think I explained that very well, but water is a difficulty. So the family farm, which is, I got my milk for about 30 years from a farm run by friends of mine in New Hampshire. And theirs was really actually a bit of a community farm, as they always had people who moved there who either were paid to help or get help. And it was an astonishing place. And it is disappearing right now, unfortunately. But I got my raw milk from that farm for years. So I built this dairy in Hudson because I wanted to make a point of raw milk. I wanted to join the raw milk fray because it's such a big difference. And raw meaning not pasteurized, but it also means not homogenized.
So you operate your dairy, Churchdown Dairy, in New York, in the Hudson Valley. Yes. And what are the laws locally, and how does that compare to around the country?
Yeah, great. There you go. Laws. Oh my gosh, the laws. Raw milk has different legal status in every single state, and it looks as if it's just being run by an individual state. It's illegal. It's completely illegal in many states, but it is legal and can be bought in stores, in retail stores in other states, and New Hampshire happens to be one of them. And so there is a war. There's a war on milk. So among the terrible things that are done to milk is that it is taken from each farm and put in a tanker. I have come to understand that is a mistake all by itself, because the integrity of the milk from that particular farm is destroyed. It ceases to be that farm's milk, and so then I can understand why they feel they have to pasteurize it. Why do they homogenize it? They have to pasteurize it, they feel, because they don't know they don't know the quality of every single farmer. So why did they homogenize it, by the way? That's an issue that is hardly talked about at all as the trouble that it is. I think it's partly because they don't want to have to shake the milk that comes out of the truck. Because if you want to get some of the fat as well as the milk, you have to shake the bottle, as some of you will know, and either remember or still are doing it. So homogenizing it came in order to make it not necessary, I think, to shake anything, but really beyond that, it was to steal the cream, because the cream was more valuable than the milk. So that was the underlying thing. It was a pure money thing, and people are not aware of that, and that it is a health disaster. So now everybody wants some other kind of milk, cashew milk and etc. All these other milks. And it's reasonable for people to have turned away from the cow's milk that is sold in supermarkets. So let's see. It is one of the best foods. It's the food that the great cheeses come from, that yogurt, that kefir. It is a super food. And it's my opinion that the way to get back to it is to get back to the family farm, which is just another reason why we need the family or small farm. That's that's what we must have. I have a little paper in which I say that it's called The Future of Dairy, and in it I say what we need is the right scale, that it should be local. This is for dairies to be able to make it in this world. They sell to the drinkers direct, and with fair wholesale prices to the cheese makers. So I think that's maybe all I have to say, unless somebody asks me a question, but we'll do that later. Okay, all right. Thank you. My pleasure. Drink real milk, which is raw milk. Just one last thing. Organic milk doesn't mean much. If it has been pasteurized and homogenized, it has been destroyed by the processing. Thank you.